Hi Arun, how are you?
Very good. How are you, Roland?
I'm very well. I'm very excited to watch your session where you're going to unveil, I think, a unique view about LLMs and agents. And I hope you want to share it with our audience as well, what you're going to tell on stage in, I think, in half an hour's time. Can you tell me more about this LLMs, what you're doing at Deutsche Telekom, and how you approach this, which is, I think, a new, unique approach?
Great. So essentially what I'm going to talk about is how we're deploying AI agents to solve customer sales and service use cases across our Deutsche Telekom's footprint in Europe. We started this journey to bet on AI agents as a fundamental construct to build those capabilities, which is powered underneath by LLMs, and started to build a platform which we refer to as LMOS, which stands for Language Models Operating System, which allows us accelerated deployment of AI agents to solve use cases. That's what I will be talking about.
But you do it in a different way. As Deutsche Telekom, you're going to open it up. Can you explain more about that one?
Yeah, indeed. Absolutely. So I'll have to talk a little bit about the journey that we undertook to understand why we are opening it up. So we started this journey a year back to build customer sales and service use cases. Back then, LLMs, RAG was all the hype back then. How do you build applications, right? But in order to solve customer service use cases for 10 countries with 10 different languages and n number of business units, the rudimentary approaches, it was pretty clear it won't scale. So we started looking at LLMs as a new set of microprocessors. Just like how microprocessors were there, then operating systems came, internet came, cloud computing came, mobile apps came. What if we move LLMs as a new microprocessor, which allows us a different way of thinking? If you build a new operating system, a new computing platform, it allows the democratization of building applications. So this was the principal view which drove us to build this as a platform. But also we brought in a couple of great people who were principled to think about what will it be 5 years from now, where the utility value of LLMs, where will the applications be? How do you create an open ecosystem like the internet as against the AppStores of the world? So this draws some of the design principles of LMOS to have multiple agents. They can interact. No monopoly can control. You can bring your own agents. It forms a system. It's just like the hive mind in Star Trek. You can bring your own cyborgs.
Yeah, and I like the analogy with, on one hand, the App Store or the internet, the website. So can you explain this analogy? How does it work? Can people build their own website and LLMs? Can you compare it like that, or how would it work?
Exactly. So the fundamental idea is, let's say if you're an app developer today, tomorrow's apps most likely will be agents, which is going to do things on your behalf, and you just provide the intent. Would there be closed platforms where these agents are built? Or should we do something today to enable these app developers, agent builders to have an open ecosystem? So if you take Deutsche Telekom with 10 countries and n number of departments, this is a minuscule view of that world. Because we wouldn't want to have a team which is going to build applications for all these departments. We would want individual departments to build their own applications. They might be able to choose their own LLMs. So it allows that view of, if you're an agent developer, and if you don't like the ecosystem in which it lives, you move it out of the ecosystem from one to the other without your user getting affected. You cannot be canceled, or you cannot be controlled with additional charges or so. So you need to come up with the specifications, just like internet, and just like the specifications of Web of Things, for example. And this is what we are attempting at this point.
I think a bold statement, bold move, and a bold journey. But I'm really curious to follow you very closely, to follow Deutsche Telekom very closely. And how are you working together, like, let's say, with an open system? So you work together with Intel as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Essentially, the development of LMOS has been a grassroots movement. Like I said, there was no initiative which anybody planned. It was just when we started to build it, I wanted to bring some of the open source contributors. There's a lot of great people in our team, incredible contributors to the Web of Things ecosystem. We started to build this. And we also came up with the manifesto, which is we would want to align closer to whomsoever is believing in these principles. So one thing is pretty clear. Open ecosystems allow thriving of innovation. So, for example, to build LLM applications, you would need the hardware layer, inference layer, training, then the applications layer, it's n number of lanes. How do you bring openness in all these layers?
Yeah.
So this is where I think also Intel's One API is an interesting project. I see the need for in the future. Definitely, there is a need for agents to run everywhere, including the sanctity of your homes, which would require you to have edge devices running models. You should be able to. You should not result in a fragmented ecosystem. So this is where initiatives like One API can really help, and we are happy to be in touch with Intel, and of course GT has been a great partner. Intel has been a great partner with GT on this.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm going to follow your journey, and we're for sure going to see each other again in the coming 5 years, and I'm going to share it with my audience.
That's what even my team is aspiring to do.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Thanks, and I'm going to the next booth.
All right, thanks a lot, Ronald. It's been a pleasure.
I hope